What's going down, people? How you doing? TK coming at you. I just want to hit you guys with some general information about Bitcoin. You know, there's a lot of misconception. Most people are controlled by fear, and everything you do is out of fear. But the problem is when you act in that manner, it creates a blocking mechanism that prevents all your goals, because the physiological standpoint of fear creates your body in a state of panic, and you can't create when you're panicking. So the best way to be controlled is to keep everybody scared of doing anything that means production or means advancing. So I encourage you to get past the lifestyle of fear and get into actually acting on sound information, doing your own homework, coming to your own conclusions. But I know that's a hard concept. That's something that seems to be lost in today's society. People don't really know how to come to their own conclusions, read, and critically think. So I'm probably preaching to the choir. But I just want to put that information out there. Now, the issue is that once you transition from traditional banking, you know, you have an account at Bank of America, and you're gaining 1% a year. Once you switch over to being unbanked, stepping into a system outside of fractional reserve control, now you can make 1% every day. You know, in Bitcoin, you could possibly make 1% every hour. You know, that's the nature of a supply and demand system. It goes up based on the emotional response of people, which is another reason why fear is influenced in Bitcoin price. People react to some news. Next thing you know, Bitcoin has a bunch of panic sellers, and the price is reflective of people buying and selling. So one thing I want to point out is that over the long term, Bitcoin has outperformed every other currency on the planet, to include gold and silver. Now, why is that? Bitcoin, in a supply and demand market dynamic, is free to climb or decline based on people's actual interaction with converting dollars over to Bitcoin. Whereas gold and silver has been manipulated down and controlled through the LBMA price fix and Comdex. And most of gold is influenced through paper shorts. So people buy a contract, an option that says that there's gold in a vault, and here's your paper representation of that gold. That can be manipulated through speculation and doesn't reflect the actual physical gold on hand. So that paper short game has been going on forever in gold and silver. So Bitcoin doesn't react the same because it's not under the same control measures. I only suggest that people get out of fractional reserve banking because the entire house of cards is not sustainable, number one. Number two, it's a Ponzi scheme in that the policymakers or the 1% at the top are only concerned with their interests. So they're never making decisions based on something that's going to help you. They're only lining their own pockets, which means that if you had a Excel spreadsheet and you measured $25 at the grocery store today versus a year from now, you would be able to see inflation. But because the average person cannot see inflation over the course of a year, they don't care. What does inflation mean to the average television or television watcher? Absolutely nothing, because they don't realize that the $25 that they spend doesn't buy as much a year later. The $25 hasn't changed, neither has their salary, but the purchasing power of that dollar has declined to the point where you don't get as much. And that's the nature of all paper currencies. Paper currencies will continue to go down because the only way to sustain the paper currency system is to print more money or put more money into circulation, which then devalues the money currently in your pocket. So stepping out of fractional reserve banking gives you a leg up, because now you're stepping into decentralized assets that are truly supply and demand based. Now, we're not even at 1% market saturation with Bitcoin. Once institutional money steps into Bitcoin, you're going to see a 3% saturation and then a 10%. And that's when people talk about $10,000 Bitcoin. Now, if you ride the appreciation wave from where it is right now at 4,200 to where it will be in the future at 10,000, you can see gains directly in your Bitcoin wallet, as opposed to a counterparty third risk where the bank makes all the money, they keep it and give you back 1%, less than 1%. So why would somebody turn down financial gains that they directly see without a third party, without a countermeasure, or without any type of middleman between equity? A fundamental misunderstanding and fear. Those are the only two reasons. So stick with paper and continue devaluation, because devaluation is the only game in paper. Paper is backed by what? I told you this in another video for the 3 people that watch my videos. Paper is backed by oil. And oil is sold all over the world in first US denominated dollars and then converted to any other currency. So if paper is backed by oil and the cheapest place to get oil is Saudi Arabia, what happens if Saudi Arabia makes a different deal? For people who study the game, that's what got Gaddafi in trouble. That's also what got Saddam in trouble. They both talked about selling oil in other than US dollar denominations. So if you understand the system, you could then play better within the rules. And stepping into cryptocurrency gives you financial freedom that currently is not available in paper currency. So I suggest that you use Bitcoin like a savings account, save $100 every payday. And what does that mean to the average person? Probably nothing, because the average person is relegated to not having a lot of spendable income. If I say $100 every payday, you probably don't have the discipline or the wherewithal to actually put $100 into Bitcoin every single payday. So me saying it doesn't really mean anything. But putting a thought in your mind is the only thing I try to do with these videos. I just try to make a suggestion, give you an avenue, and what you choose to do with that avenue is not my business. So understand the nature of the system and position yourself. The only thing I'm trying to say is position yourself for a better future, because you can see equity gain in cryptocurrency. All you have to do is buy and hold, convert from dollars to whatever cryptocurrency that you want to invest in, and then transfer it to a private wallet, and then wait for those equity gains to show up in your wallet. It's really that simple. It's the same thing as putting dollars in a bank account and waiting on that less than 1% that you get every single year. But one is more advantageous. One is more profitable. So you have to decide what you want to do with your life. I'm not here to hold people's hand. What I'm here to do is position myself, influence myself, and then make better economic decisions so that I can be on the other side of this paradigm shift. You're so distracted with smoke that you don't realize that the world is economically shifting. And that shift is going towards a sound accounting system. And that's what Bitcoin or cryptocurrency offers you. It offers you a transparent public ledger where every penny is accounted for, which cannot be said in central fractional reserve banking. The ledger is private. It can be manipulated and edited at any given moment. So I'm encouraging you guys to participate, but whatever you do is not my business. The only thing I'm here to tell you is that the house of cards will hit a windstorm, and at some point you will find yourself in a Cyprus, a Zimbabwe, some sort of Venezuela situation where hyperinflation takes over the paper currency and devaluation becomes more apparent. So instead of waiting for that scenario to hit, prepare yourself by switching to higher valuation currencies. Why do people accumulate gold and silver? That's the number one question I used to get when I taught a class for gold. People used to say, well, what the hell do I do with the gold when I get it? Well, the reason people acquire gold and silver is because anywhere in the world, for the past 6,000 years, gold has been considered an asset that you can leverage against to get paper. So you can always go to a bank with gold and take out a line of credit against that gold, pay back the line of credit, and get your gold back. So it's a leverage point that gives you financial power because of the fact that you can use it whenever you need it. Okay? It's like owning land. You can always leverage that land to get paper currency. Whether it's chopping wood or whether it's subletting some of the land. Gold and silver has that same intrinsic perceived value, so that you can use it as a line of credit. Use it to extend a line of credit. Now, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is considered liquid gold or digital gold because it has the same properties as the precious metals and scarcity, 21 million coins, and mathematics through consensus, where nothing gets entered into the ledger unless 2 + 2 = 4. So what I'm telling you is sound money is cryptocurrency or blockchain. And blockchain is an alternative to fractional reserve banking. And it's a viable alternative that gives you a lot more benefits than currently seen in any paper currency in the world. So decide what you want to do. Position yourself for a better future and get to the point where financial literacy becomes a part of your life. That is such a rare thing today. And my videos are just meant for the 3 people to hopefully turn on some lights.